Hola, ¿cómo están? Yo soy Alejandro Franco, soy fundador de WARP y el día de hoy les voy a presentar mi más reciente conversación con Fran Healy. Fran Healy es el vocalista y líder de la banda Través, una banda irlandesa sumamente importante en el Reino Unido y en toda la movida británica de la década de los 90, que ha adquirido una notoriedad importante en nuestro país al paso del tiempo y que me atrevería a decir que a veces incluso el mercado mexicano, el mercado latino es mucho más poderoso e importante para ellos que el mercado local, que es el mercado británico. De hecho, a partir de eso, de ese fenómeno, es Fran Healy quien decide invitar a un periodista británico a hacer un documental que se llama Almost Fashionable, a partir de que a este periodista no le encanta la banda. Dice que sus mejores años quedaron hace mucho tiempo atrás. Y a ese periodista lo traen a México y filma con Travis algunas entrevistas y también varios momentos como testigo del éxito de Travis en nuestro país. Es un ejercicio sumamente interesante. La película al final la dirige Fran Healy, pero tiene toda la línea narrativa y editorial de este periodista británico. Al respecto de este documental, platicamos en esta conversación desde un soleado Los Ángeles, California, hasta la Ciudad de México. Ojalá que lo disfruten.
Where are you, Fran? In LA?
I'm in Los Angeles. The sun is going down. It's a really nice evening here. It's beautiful, really beautiful.
It's been a little bit chill in LA, right? In the last few days.
Yeah, are you guys getting the chill down there too?
No. Well, yes, a bit. The thing is that I'm moving from Mexico City to Cuernavaca. That is like an hour and a half. And in Cuernavaca it's very hot, and here in Mexico City is kind of chill. Yeah, I think it's very similar to LA right now.
Yeah, we have like today it's pretty hot, but as soon as the sun goes down, it's freezing.
Yes, really yes, cold. It's a little bit that LA cold, right? The wind and everything.
Yeah, it's a weird one. Listen, thank you so much for having me on the show, man. It's just such a lovely thing. Thank you so much.
No, I think the last time we talked, we met in the studio, and that probably happened like in 2016 when you did that tour and you were filming the documentary, right?
This is correct, yes.
I just saw the documentary this morning. Yeah, and it went like really, really fast for me, and it was like a really nice piece to see, and I'm wondering a lot of things that I will want to talk with you today, because I do think that is a big challenge to start a documentary from a band with the band's perspective, you know, like it's very dangerous, because
it's very dangerous.
It's like, okay, we're gonna talk about our story and that's our side of the story, but I think the decision that you made was very clever to include someone, a journalist, that could be like the other side, like a guy that doesn't like Travis very much. So tell me. The documentary starts with the call when you call him.
Mm-hmm.
You propose the idea to come to Mexico, like 10 weeks later or something like that, to film the documentary and to spend time with the band. But the real idea, when actually happened?
Well, we shot on the last album, Everything at Once. I made a movie to go with I made a film to go. I started doing a little bit of filmmaking towards the end of our time in Berlin. And so I made a film to go with the last album, Everything at Once. And after shooting that, I kind of thought I would like to do more. You know, I'd maybe like to do something else. And my DP, the cameraman, suggested, why don't you go on the road and film the band? And so we sort of had the idea then. Around about this time, I knew this journalist, Wyndham Wallace, who's a very nice guy. he just didn't like the band, and we could be professional about it. And we're friends now, you know. But I really, when you're making music documentaries can be almost very cookie cutter, you know. They follow the same format. If they're band documentaries, they can be very predictable, and still you can have a predictable one and it still be enjoyable because you're watching your favorite band and you're learning about their story. But I wanted it to be different. I wanted it to have some kind of a different take from a different angle. For exactly the reason that you're saying. I felt that I could still. I'm telling the story. In fact, you know what? My editor's telling the story. She's amazing edit. It's a brilliantly edited bit of work, and that's why it goes by so quickly. So I think that so including this character as the sort of he carries the documentary on his shoulders. You get to see not only the band, but you get to a sort of glimpse of this other side that people don't really know exists, which is they put a face to this thing called the critic. And all bands have a total. We have a thing about critics because, you know, we spend years and years making an album, and we really, when we put it out, we're all very confident, but at the same time unconfident about it. And sometimes these guys just kick the shit out of it and we're like, so I thought, you know, why not like learn a little bit more about their angle and maybe be sympathetic towards it rather than this aggressive thing that musicians and artists have with critics. So in the end, you get this nice balance. We have the story of the band, and also this idea of how maybe some critics, they get lost. You know, they forget how to be fans of music because it becomes their life. It becomes their occupation. And in the middle of this, you have this.
It's everyday.
Nice, yeah, and in the middle of these two things, you have a kind of love letter to Mexico. Which is it's our favorite place to come to as a band. I think all bands have favorite places, and Mexico's in the top, you know, the top 3 places that every band loves to come to, and in the top 3 as well as Glasgow, where I come from. Because the fans, people that go and see music in our cities and our countries, we know music runs through us like blood. It's like we are in our countries that there's something that music does to us. It's like crazy drugs. It makes us go crazy, and bands love this. You know, when you have an audience who are singing louder than the band, and it's quite intoxicating. So in the middle of this, there's the love letter to this wonderful place we all love.
I think the idea is wonderful, and all the documentary is really well, structured. The whole idea is there. You don't need to tell step by step every year on every album of the band.
Yeah,
it's struggling also when you face different phases of the band, and you realize not only as an artist from your side or your end, or from Wyndham's point of view. You know, it's not only what happened between you guys. It's also or the rest of the media of the world or the UK. It's also a very important message for the fans. It's like a message, like this is what happens backstage. It's not only what you listen. We're also struggling with our own limits. We're also struggling with our own maturation as a band, and to try to find a way that I think it's. I mean, to get there to any point, it could be hard, but to stay there for so many years,
Yeah.
That's the real challenge, and that's what I like about the documentary, that it's a journey, and it's really well structured, and I suppose that you were trying to put that message for the fans also.
Yeah, absolutely. We're Travis are a very special. We're an odd band. The documentary is called Almost Fashionable. It's not a deliberate thing to be almost fashionable. It's just the way we are. And I think one of the things is that we're Scottish, and Scottish people are very straight down the line. We don't weave around. We kind of go straight down the middle, and we stay the way we are. Like, you don't lose your accent if you're a Scottish person. You keep it, because it's a badge. It's like that's my identity. You keep your feet on the ground. If you become massively famous, which we did, we sold 8 million, 9 million albums, became massive. We still kept our feet on the ground, and we also kept this idea where it's simple, write a song, make it come from your gut, make it about the truth, and it will be timeless. Don't try to follow fashion, because fashion changes every week, and you end up looking like an idiot, like an old guy down the disco, dancing with the kids. That's you need to, and I think that's the reason why we're still together after all these years, is that we've kept this idea of just stay together, and don't be following all these kind of crazy trends and things, because the one thing that, I grew up a Catholic, right? I'm not anything anymore. I no religion whatsoever, but I'm a pretty spiritual person.
Yeah,
I think
same here.
I think the thing that going to church as a little boy, when you were singing all the psalms and the hymns, that was my musical background, hymns. And these are ancient songs. These melodies they're old, like older than all these, like Mozart and all. It goes even further back than that. And they're simple, and they're very structured in a very simple kind of way. And I think that there's a timelessness to that they don't have like synthesizers and beats and everything on them. They're just someone's voice.
Yes.
And the human voice, if you have something, if you're singing the truth of your own truth, whatever, it just can move people. And I think that this is the business that I'm in. It's the business that you're in. You're in the business of looking for magic and trying to find it in a new song or something out there. And this is what Travis are.
I think that's what really connects with the fans, and especially with a band as Travis, because the fans are always there, and they know all the lyrics, and they know the songs, of course. But for me, it's not a surprise, because I'm as you are from Glasgow, I'm from Mexico City, and I know my people, and we're very passionate, and I know that we connect a lot, not only with UK bands, but also specifically with bands like you guys, and I think we have a lot of similarities between Glasgow and Mexico City, and that's in a lot of ways, the education, the religion, the drinks, the way of seeing live music, exactly. So it's very natural.
Maybe we should. There should be maybe a television show that takes 100 people from Mexico and 100 people from Glasgow and just swap them for like 6 months and just follow them and see what happens. Because
sounds a little bit expensive, but we should try it, man.
It just, or maybe just get the local governments to sponsor it.
yes, that would be amazing.
A cultural exchange,
cultural exchange between the two cities, that would be terrific. I would love to be in the 100 people, like to live in Glasgow for a while. I love I love Glasgow. I met Glasgow when I did a tour, like a private tour, trying to visit like single malts companies, these distilleries.
Yeah.
And then at the end, I went to Glasgow. And actually, I was doing a documentary about Rodrigo y Gabriela, and we shot in Glasgow. And
Oh my God.
That's why for me it's very, very special always to talk about a documentary, because from my end I already did one once, and it was a wonderful experience, and it's very tough, and it's really special to be involved in a project like that, because you start with an idea and then it became something else.
Yeah, you have to let it take you. You
Yes.
can mold it, but you have to let it take you. I can't believe you're with Rodrigo and Gabriela.
Yeah.
They are phenomenal. How was the show in Glasgow?
Amazing, terrific.
With the audience, insane.
No, incredible. For me, it was like from a whole week visiting distilleries all on my own with my own alcoholism, a love for the whiskeys and etc. And I went to Glasgow and I met them before the show, and then after the show, I actually the backstage after the show, I did it with a really, really small and tiny camera, and we included in the documentary because they were putting ice in the arms because they were so frenetic that they were playing so hard that they got injured actually when they were playing, because they were very excited because of the people.
I have a story about Rodrigo and Gabriela. So we were booked in 2000 and maybe 2006, I think, to play the KCRW acoustic Christmas concert, or something. Morning Becomes Eclectic. One of these kind of.
Yeah, I love that show.
It was a huge concert in the Gibson Amphitheater in Los Angeles, and they had everyone playing at it. They had this what are they called again? Lily Allen was playing. Everyone was playing it. All the big acts.
Okay.
The Shins were playing it.
Oh.
Modest Mouse were playing it. We were playing it. Rodrigo and Gabriela playing it. I never heard of Rodrigo and Gabriela until that night. So they had a revolving stage.
Oh, okay. Wow.
There was like a giant record player that was when you'd have the people out in front of the audience doing their thing, and then behind the curtain, they have the other band setting up.
The other band, and it turned, right?
Yeah, it turns around. Right?
I saw that once in LA, but from K-Rock. From a K-Rock
same place.
Event. That must
same
be
venue.
The same supplier, I suppose.
Well, no, it would be the same venue because they used the same venue. So
okay.
I'm going out all night and I'm looking at the other bands on the stage, and I kept going out into the audience and going, oh man, we're gonna kill this. Oh my God. We are gonna kill this. Look at this. And the bands were doing okay, but they didn't have that thing, that Travis have this thing, right? We have this nice
the vibe
with the audience.
The energy, the connection.
So I'm going, oh my God, we're gonna kill this. And they kept going out times to see the bands, and everyone was fine, but I was like, and then I remember sitting in the dressing room and going out one more time because I heard the audience, literally going wild. I didn't know what the noise was. I didn't know what I was hearing. So I went outside and I popped my head out, and there was two people on stage going doing this, and I'm like, oh my God. And I'm like, we're on after this band. Oh my God. The whole of this giant place was on their feet going, yeah! And I went backstage and I was white as a sheet. And the band are like, what's up with you? And I'm like, nothing. It's okay. So we went on stage, and then I remember just standing, and you could hear, like, you have to have your back to the curtain so that you turn around and you face the audience. and we could hear the crowd screaming like a Beatles concert behind us as they finished, as Rodrigo and Gabriela finished the set. They were like, "Rah!" And then the thing started, and we came out, and the crowd just went, and it was the worst gig we ever played. You couldn't go on after them. It was like nobody could go on after them. They were so
it
good.
became impossible.
Yeah. and I learned a lesson, a good lesson, a valuable lesson that night. Don't get too big for your boots, frankly.
That's a good anecdote. I will let them know this story. It's amazing.
I met them a couple of
them.
years. Yeah, I met them a couple of years later, and we played at Fuji Rock, maybe 5 years later. And I went up to Gabriela and I said, "Hey, remember blah blah blah?" And she's like, "Oh yeah." And I was like, and I told her, and she's like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry."
Thinking in the documentary that I made, I saw, and I was very surprised at the end, at the credits, that actually the direction of the documentary is yours. I mean,
yeah.
When I started seeing it and I listened to the phone call and I hear the narration of Wyndham, I thought that he was directing, but then I realized that it was you. So how was it? Because you really nail it in terms of you feel that the energy of Wyndham Wallace is there as a journalist. You feel the presence, you feel the point of view, you feel the energy of the change, how he starts to evolve his own thoughts and reflections, and I love the way it ends. I won't say more for the people that haven't seen the documentary, but how was it for you? Because I think that must be very interesting, trying to not be in the middle, but at the same time to be directing it.
So it was easy and it was difficult, just like anything. And the easy part was being in the band. I brought our DP, our brilliant DP, Christian, who shot the Everything at Once film with us, and just said, film everything. And I set Wyndham up with the sort of Nick Broomfield headphones and the microphone as a prop, to make him feel more, to make him feel more comfortable and more, just to give him something to hold, and to disarm the people he was speaking to. And then I left it, and we shot 90 hours. We had a lot of footage. We were there for 10 days, so we shot a lot of footage. And then we sat. Then Wyndham was out of the picture. Everyone was gone, and I went with my editor, Sarah Iben, and
that she's also producing, right?
Yeah, she's amazing editor, and I sat. I mean, we sat for a year cutting that. It took a year, because this is the thing, like you say, you start with this idea and it starts to veer off like this.
Yes.
And we got lost because there's so much footage. We got lost somewhere in the middle of it, and this is when it started to get difficult, because we couldn't. Where's this going? So I suggested to her. I mean, as a director, when you're doing a documentary, especially when it's about your band, I honestly left it pretty much to Sarah to tell that story. Yes. And I would be there, and if anything popped out that I felt was, that's not really us, or that's not really right, or maybe the story could turn here or there at this point, I would step in. But I'm pretty hands-off when I needed to be. But halfway through it, we got lost, and I suggested that we make a trailer. So we got the beginning of it. We'd done a couple of things, but it was just there was so much to deal with, and we were trying to get the story of the journalist and everything. So we made this trailer, and it was a minute long, and it was brilliant. It cut together really well. It moved really, really, really well. it had a sort of nice energy to it, and it put across it almost encapsulated the entire idea that we wanted to put across. So then we used the trailer, and I said to Sarah, just make the film that this trailer's for.
Yes.
So we almost did it.
I totally get you. Yes.
We did it back to front. So we start with the trailer, and then we make the film that goes with the trailer, and it really helped. It really helped us with just how we put it together, and it came together.
The pace, right? The pace also of the narrative.
Yeah, and it came together very quickly after that, and then at the end, so we eventually had the whole documentary almost finished, and I never made anything like this before, and Sarah had never done anything like this before, so she sent it to a friend of hers who's a big documentary filmmaker in New York. They make big stuff, and her friend wrote back this classic email. She's like, it's like a checklist. She's like, have you done this? Have you done that? Have you checked this? Have you done that? Have you got the copyright? Have you got the publishing? Have you got the thing? And it was like someone switching on a light in their dark room, and you suddenly going, you thought everything was okay, but then suddenly, not only had you not done anything, like, because we were producing it ourselves. I'd never done anything like that. I then had to go and get all of the copyrights for all of the music.
Yes.
All of even my own music. I had to pay for my own music.
Whoa.
But it was good. Everyone did good deals, but I mean, I suddenly had to go into this weird, calling up the like, for instance, calling up the publishers of Shostakovich and saying, I need a deal on this piece of music, and they're like, what piece of music? I'm like, well, it's this one, and it goes like this, and they're like, we'll give you it for $10,000, and I'm like, I don't have $10,000.
No. That's not the budget.
Yeah.
We don't have a budget.
Yeah, exactly. And you know that feeling, and so we just got it in the end, and we managed to get it all together. But I've never been so shocked at how much work goes into. My appreciation for producers is through the roof. I mean, I'll never do anything like that again. I say that, but I mean, I've just spent a year making videos produced by myself. It's just a bit budget, isn't it? It's like, and we're now in COVID, so you have to do everything yourself.
No, I totally agree with you. For me, it was like one of the biggest challenge in my whole career.
Yeah.
Like it took me 5 years to premiere it, to put all the pieces together, because I went with them traveling in different segments for almost 2 years.
Oh my God.
Tried to put all together. It was a totally mess. And then to decide the story, and then to get all the pieces, like in the legal side and everything. It was like very, very difficult. And then you premiered this on Morelia, and that is my favorite film festival in the world. It's amazing.
Yeah,
COVID wasn't there yet, and now it's the COVID. So let's try to finish with the moment. Where are we standing now? I mean, the movie is already there, available for the audience.
Mm-hmm.
You premiered it like 3 years ago in Morelia. How was it for you, and what were you thinking it could happen with the documentary when you finish it? How has been that part?
Okay, so the premiere was so good, and to do it there and to do it in Mexico, where it was all about this. Isn't it? It's funny, actually. If you boil it all down, if you boiled this documentary down, and even your documentary down as well, because they're a very similar band to us in terms of giving everything to their audience, and when there's nothing left, giving more.
Yeah.
So if you boil it down, though, that this documentary is about this thing that Mexico has, that Glasgow has, that is the embodiment of what great music and art is. It's this feeling. So bringing it to Morelia for me was the perfect place to show it. It got such a good reaction, and we had translation underneath, subtitles, and everyone laughed at the right moments. There's some funny. The funniest part of the documentary, and it comes back to me time and time again, and I would love to meet this girl because she was so funny in the doc, is when he asked this girl about which member of the band would you go on a date with, and she's like, oh, I don't know.
Yeah, I remember.
And her boyfriend.
With the boyfriend there.
Yeah. But we cut that. We cut that for her sake. We cut that because that went on a little bit longer. It would have embarrassed probably him more than her. Really, it was very funny. But anyway, yeah, that was amazing. It couldn't have gone better. And Morelia is just the greatest film festival, I think. You've got all the big ones, but Morelia's got this thing. It's a magical thing.
The city is amazing. The place is amazing.
Yeah,
it's the best place.
And everyone loves it. And they looked after us so well. And I met lots of amazing people there, and stayed in touch with a few of them since then. And as far as like what I wanted from the documentary, we're still on it. It's, for me, this thing was we made albums, and people have been trying to talk about our band. They've been trying to get us and understand us and put us in a frame and to say, this is this band. And I needed to do that. I needed to tell that story myself because no one else seemed to be able to do it, because we're quite an odd band.
Yeah.
And so this documentary is, again, like our music. You leave like crumbs, breadcrumbs in the forest. You leave them for people to follow your career. You leave these things behind you in your wake, and people will see them. People are watching it online, and I'm getting so many lovely mails and things on Twitter and everything from people who have seen it. And just as long as people come and and discover it, and it's there, then that's what's important, and it's part of our legacy.
And I love the thing that you are having the direct connection with the audience. You are not on a specific platform. You just put the documentary there, and people can access to it from anywhere at any time, and I love it. We have like a couple of minutes more, and I would love from you to tell me about Live on the Pool. That's the name of the new release.
Say that again.
Live from the Pool. You have the new, it's a new album.
The album is called 10 Songs, and the Live from the Pool is like one of the songs from the album.
Oh, okay.
We performed it live, but 10 Songs is the album that's out. So you probably we should talk about that a little bit.
But these are original songs.
Yeah, these are Travis songs. These are
but you recorded them like live.
Oh, in the pool? Yeah, in the pool version. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I get it. So we have both versions.
Yeah, you have the album came out last October, and then we did a little show in this place called the Pool, and we played the songs live, and they're just releasing little recordings of that session at the moment. But it's the venue is in London. We came, like, the boys came down from I came over from America. I had to quarantine for 2 weeks and then do the thing, and then 2 weeks on the way back to do it. And we had it was great. It was really great to play together. we've not been able to play together since then, and before then we hadn't played with each other since February, so October to February. It's a crazy time to be in a band right now, and I have to say it doesn't look I'm not optimistic, let me say that.
Mm-hmm.
But I do believe that once all of this gets figured out, you tell me this. I mean, I miss going to shows, but when we were all able to do it, we sort of took it for granted. We said, oh, we go and see this show and that show, and we hanging out with our friends and, you know, hugging and doing all the things that you do, and suddenly you're not allowed to do any of it. Now, I mean, isn't it going to be amazing when with that first show that everyone goes back to and we're all relaxed and in the room again?
I'm 100% sure of that.
I mean, I cannot.
It's going to be epic.
I know, I'm getting emotional just talking about it because, you know, thinking we come to Mexico, all of the bands come to your country, and it's this communion of I was saying the other day, I find it very odd being in a band. When you're in a band and you go and see a concert, you should feel, and the band should feel like they're in the crowd, and the crowd should feel like they're in the band. Yeah, so the thing about being in a show, in the room, we're all in the band together. We're in one band. The audience and the band should never be apart. They should be one thing. And I feel like once when we come back, how good is it going to be? Oh my God.
Yes, it will be like that. I'm positive, and I'm very sure that these strange times we will have a real amazing comeback for everyone, because we need it, and because music and art always saves us, you know, like there's no other way, and it has happened before and it will happen again. And I want to really thank you, because you are always very honest with your music, with the whole band, I mean, but especially you also in the front with the fans and with the media. You're always very straight and honest. That's why you feel very familiar in Mexico, because we feel related with that kind of vibe.
Yeah.
And that piece, that audiovisual piece that you did with this amazing group of people, it's very honest, and I think it's a very humble way to present the story of the band. And thanks for that, because it's always, you know, like a big motivation to see pieces like that, and to know that you are living in the same moment of these kind of amazing stories about your favorite songs and your favorite band. So thanks a lot, Fran.
Tell me this, can I watch the Rodrigo Gabriela documentary? Is it on Amazon or something?
No, right now we had it in platforms. Actually, in the US, you could see it before in iTunes and Hulu.
Oh.
But right now, actually, I have to tell you that I'm a little bit inspired of what you did, because when the contract finished, we didn't put it there in platforms anymore.
Great.
So I think probably we're gonna do the same, because we're still waiting which platform is the right one, and etc. I'm just so tired about it.
Yeah,
and
it's such a drag.
We had it for 3 years, and now the last year with the COVID, I thought that we were like going to Amazon or Netflix or whatever, and you know that they are still deciding and everything. So I think I'm just gonna put it there also with a similar platform of what you did.
Yeah, Vimeo is fine. They don't. I think it's like they take 10% as an administration fee, and then, you know, and I think we priced it. I deliberately priced our thing $5. I didn't want people to. I mean, my manager, all the people, they're like, "What are you doing? It's fucking to make it $10. I'm like, no, because I mean, I just feel like if you keep it
there, you're gonna have more people, and the audience we will think.
Yeah, and it's like going, and it's like the price of a drink. It's like the price of going to the shops and getting like buying a cake and a coffee.
No, I have to tell you that from this call on, I'll send Rodrigo y Gabriela's manager an email to let him know that that's our next step, because now that we were talking, I was thinking at the same time, like, I should have done this before, because I'm still waiting, which is the new platform, and it's a crazy story, as you know now, to deal with this kind of.
Oh, it is such a headache. Really, it's such a headache. And you know, if you have a fan base and you have like your Facebook, and they have a Facebook, and they have all these things to say, hey, go and see it here if you want to watch this documentary.
And their fans as yours, they are the best. They're amazing. So now that I want to let you know that when you see the documentary there, it's gonna be inspired also by yours in the terms of the platform. But I would love to send you a link to watch the documentary.
Oh, please? I would love it. I'll watch it with my editor.
Oh, I would love to. We did that like 5 years ago, so for me it's kind of difficult to see it again. But
me too.
I'm pretty sure you're gonna enjoy it, man.
Thank you so much, man. Yeah, I'll give you my. Let me send you a text with my email on it.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
The little chat. Okay, here's my email. Right. Gmail.
I'm going to send you a Vimeo with the password.
.com. Got it. Ding. There you go. That's my email.
Cool.
Great.
That's amazing.